Welcome back to JetBlue Park. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined as always by Red Sox senior writer for WEEI.com, Alex Speier. We have just concluded the first full week of Red Sox Spring Training 2014 as the defending World Series champions look to begin their quest to repeat. Okay, the first bit of business I want to start with, Alex, is the live batting practice, which really got underway in earnest this weekend. Jon Lester and Clay Buchholz getting on the mound today. David Ortiz, Dustin Pedroia, Mike Napoli taking their swings. What are some of the basic things that these pitchers, namely Clay Buchholz and Jon Lester, those types, are looking to accomplish at this stage of spring training?
It is 3 words: build arm strength. Anything that happens right now is obviously irrelevant. It's happening in the context of pitching behind an L screen and, and with the batter standing in a batting cage. So the goal of this is to increase the intensity a little bit, because there is that little bit of adrenaline that starts to kick in that makes it something more than just the bullpen sessions that are really kind of the pitcher working on his craft in isolation. But at this point, yeah, they're looking to just kind of ramp up the intensity a little bit, throw with a little bit more velocity behind their pitches, and start to just feel the baseball coming out of their hand, trying to shape it around the plate in order to get ready for the start of games a little bit further down the road.
Clay Buchholz was one of those Red Sox pitchers who spoke to reporters on Sunday inside the Red Sox clubhouse. I had a chance to ask him specifically, what type of conditioning are you doing differently to perhaps build up the repetitions, the innings, and the games started this year? Are you really doing anything different? And Clay Buchholz said something very interesting to me, perhaps really showing his maturity. He said, I know I have a starting spot on this roster. It used to be I would come into spring training and think I have to throw my hardest, 93, 94, right out of the chute, day one of spring training, try to throw really hard in the games. It's not like that anymore. And I think, Alex, that really does show his maturity and maybe show some signs that he is thinking about the long term in 2014, trying to get to that magical 200 inning mark.
It's an interesting thing, because obviously Buchholz looks like an operation board. You know, he's been buzzed on his back, he's been buzzed on his shoulder and neck last year, he was buzzed on his hamstring before. This is a guy who has had a number of body parts that really, you know, he's had a hard time getting through a full, healthy season. He's done it before. It is worth noting that that in 2009 he threw over 190 innings, and even in 2010 he ended up throwing I think right around 190 again. He missed a little bit of time because of a hamstring strain while running the bases of all things.
Right.
But, you know, when you draw up the prototype of the healthy, durable pitcher, his body type isn't it. And so that means that there is going to be more uncertainty about whether or not he's ever going to reach the magical 200 innings threshold. And John Farrell made the point, this was a guy who was kind of magic on the mound, speaking of magic. 1.7 ERA, 1.74, whatever it was.
1.02 whip. I mean, remarkable numbers.
The lowest ERA by any right-hander in the American League since Pedro, right? So with at least 100 innings. So this is someone who's an incredible talent, but whether or not, you know, much as the expectations for Pedro were somewhat measured in terms of the innings load he was going to absorb, based on career track record, we're kind of at that point with Buchholz, where, look, there may be a 200 innings season in there, but we don't know it. We can't say that with certainty. Jon Lester, you look and say, okay, the expectation is that he's probably going to get to 200. Clay Buchholz, there's this kind of historical band of pitchers who've had his innings load in the major leagues as full-time starters. There are something like 4 dozen pitchers in that category of between ages 25 and 28, somewhere between 450 and 600 innings. And I think only 2 of them had who had never before had a single 200 innings season by the time they turned 28, had one after that. So, you know, he's not the anchor of the staff in the sense of being able to provide guaranteed innings, but when he's out there, he provides great innings. And so the question for the Red Sox, how to get him out there the most they can.
But the one thing, Alex, that John Farrell did say, he is definitely a top of the rotation guy for us. There's no getting around that. He may not be the anchor, he may not be an innings eater, the classic innings eater you would expect. I asked John Farrell today, Sunday, whether or not there was anything he could do in terms of his core, his lower body, his upper body. You know what he brought up? His diet. And his diet in between starts. And I thought that was also very interesting, Alex, how much care, and it goes to the maturity again, of the kind of care that Clay has to take for his body, not when he starts, but when he doesn't.
Yeah, certainly the well-defined 5-day routine is really kind of a staple of making that breakthrough as a professional pitcher. It's something that's emphasized from the time that guys get into their first full professional season. John Lester is someone who has it defined, as a pretty precise science. Clay Buchholz, it remains a little bit of a work in progress. How much lifting is there to be done? What is the right diet in order to be able to try to kind of put himself in the best position to be able to withstand the rigors of a full baseball season? And it's a different body type.